So the next technique we're going to talk about is study anomalies. What is odd and why is these abnormal things happening? So studying anomalies is also a good source of finding insights as well as inspiration of thought story kind of thing. So unlike habits, anomaly is easier to spot, but then it's harder to decode because of the complexity of the root cause. There's so many things at play. Yet the rewards is immense and disproportionate as it allows random business to tap into some patterns that seems unbreakable to facilitate game-changer moves, to break away from the best practice pattern that sometimes not really work anymore. So for the start, exactly what are anomalies? So according to Oxford Dictionary, it means something that deviates from what is standard, from what is normal, or from what is conventional and expected. In one of a very popular book, Outlier by Malcolm Gladwell, that a lot of us know, he laid out a very interesting example. So under the context of American academic performance, there was a case discussing a typical success, not so conventional success of students in unprivileged area who outperform richer students. So why is the case? Why does it phenomena happening? So in short, they asked how come poorer students end up performing better than students from rich families and rich neighborhoods. So the book mentioned a 5-year study done by a professor from Johns Hopkins University. So he pointed out that the exceptional academic result of the poorer students is because they have no excuse and they have to continue to do homework and practice to the point that it makes perfect. Whereas the richer students have more time to go on trips, recreational activities that kind of distract them from academic activity. For this anomaly of pure student who perform better in comparison with the richer student, what are the insights here? So there are 2 insights we can possibly uncover here. So the first insight is sometimes a blessing is actually a curse. And poverty could be a blessing in a disguise, as it always provides the pure student no excuse to continue practicing until it makes perfect. Another insight depends on how you want to look at it is sometimes material investment is not the determinant or the real player here, but rather perseverance and continuous practice is the key thing that leads to your success.
Right. Another case is from the USA as well. In 1950s, targeting busy and budget-concerned housewife, a company called General Mills launched a brand called Better Crocker. Right? The brand offers pre-mixed ingredients for cake. Their R&D has formulated to include all the needed for the package, ranging from the flour, baking yeast, milk, eggs, all in powder format. So only 3 things housewives would need to do is to move the powder from the pack into a bowl, mix it with water, and put it in oven, bake it. Then magically, pada, cake. So just 3 steps. Traditionally, over 10 steps has to be done to make a cake. Right? Sounds good. Save time, more convenient, lesser waste, and consistent good taste, right? Because it's already pre-mixed and tasted formulation. Their communication would also address emotional benefit, as the product ready mixed in nature will allow housewives more time to be free and then attend other house chores, spending time with their family, or that. Taking into account all this marketing checklist, this should be a hit. Well, apparently not the case here, right? The sale was bad. It was quite an anomaly for us experienced brand builders. How come a perfect solution for making cake? And so not being liked by consumers, despite everything we designed to improve their cake making part of life. They should love us, right? So what drove this anomaly? Right? The company put together help from psychologists. For some reason this time they use psychologists, but we can make do with market research. Discovered that the root cause of this anomaly of bad sale was guilt. People feel bad. Housewives in their studies felt that this is like cheating. So comparing to her earlier ways of baking, in case she has to put some effort into it, she would be more at peace with her thoughts that actually she did work on it, right? But by spending time and making sure she does really contribute, she feels more like she owns it. This understanding of anomaly makes clear the need to revisit the proposition of the products, as well the product design, which in case better than we don't know and then let it go and die despite huge investment. So what did they do to solve this problem later on? Simple. They just took the powder egg out of the ingredient. Meaning, in the new formulation, she need to put in fresh eggs into the mix. Now she need to put eggs in and start stirring. So the step of getting fresh egg, mix it, doesn't compromise other benefit of time saving, economical saving, also to enhance the housewife's sense of ownership, right? Because now she have to do something.
Dickie, are you in the kitchen? Mustn't touch the cake I just baked.
Well, Mother, after all, no one really can resist a rich, moist cake made with a Betty Crocker cake mix. It's got that special homemade goodness, just begging to be eaten. Boy, I'd grab a slice of it, too. It's just as fluffy and moist as the cakes Betty Crocker and her staff make. In fact, Betty Crocker white cake mix is a favorite Betty Crocker recipe, already measured and blended. It contains famous soft as silk cake flour and premium cake shortening. All you have to do is add water and fresh eggs, and you get a fine, snowy white cake. A great big cake, too. In fact, 9 out of 10 homemakers in recent tests said Betty Crocker cake mixes with fresh eggs gave them bigger, taller cakes than the other cake mixes they tested. Betty Crocker cake mixes give you a full 1.25 pounds of cake mix. That's more than any other nationally sold cake mix. And remember, those fresh eggs added to Betty Crocker cake mixes help give that special homemade goodness. Try Betty Crocker cake mixes and always make big, moist, fresh egg cakes.
So this example further demonstrates the complexity of the human condition. As in, you think you provide her with a very convenient product, she will love it. And then this is where we see the 15 fundamental universal values come at play. The product clearly promise her with individuality and freedom to express herself and focus on her own, but it forgets about well-being. So when guilt comes into play, she feels bad about herself, and that's what leads to the thing that seems like abnormal or discordance in the eyes of brand builders. So these are the first 2 techniques to discover the insights. We will continue with confluence and the study of frustration in the next episode. So question, is it a must for business and brands to have insight before they can be successful?
Not always. A lot of time, brands and business also just lucky. They just get it right. It did happen to unconsciously addressing consumer insight and needs. However, since we are not here to improve our chances of winning by chance, it's better to begin with having one or few insights.
So it's increase your chance of winning the bet, right? Okay. So why do we need so many techniques and tools to solve the problem to find insights?
Yeah, true. So, well, because not all problems or challenges have the same look and feel. So having multiple ways of identifying insight actually help us to approach the same consumer from multiple angles. So we saw 15 fundamental angles, right? So like that. So in the process, by approaching from different angles, different tools, we would understand them better.